Are we recording? Hey. Check. Oh, there it is. I was looking for the red line. You ready?
This is going to be fun, guys. I'm so excited.
Welcome to Journey Now, a podcast about following Jesus that takes on serious issues without ever taking itself too seriously. Each week, the pastors, staff, and friends of Journey Church in Brentwood, Tennessee gather to catch up, share life together, laugh a little, okay, a lot, maybe too much, but along the way, they also explore what it really means to bring heaven to earth, share Jesus' hospitality, and live cross-shaped lives. Part Babel, part Bible, and occasionally even thoughtful and entertaining. This is Journey Now.
Hey, welcome to a Journey Now podcast. We're all back together. All four of us
And
are
thrilled.
here.
We're so excited
to be here.
I can hardly contain it.
We were, yeah, everybody's just so awake this morning.
It's
I think there might be like a low-level depression happening right now.
Yeah, because I'm the only one that got to play pickleball
I think
today.
that's what it is. Like,
be.
I mean,
Yep.
I walked in today and Tim gave me this sob story about how he can't play pickleball for 2 months because his arm hurts.
Yeah.
It's 2 months
You know?
now?
Well, I'm a
And-
month and a quarter
And like
in.
he's
Oh.
going to the rec center and
Yeah,
like
watching.
watching everyone
Yeah.
play pickleball
Yeah.
while he does the elliptical, and I'm sure
Yeah.
he's like crying while he's doing it.
Yeah,
Well,
I just keep
that's-
waving, hey guys.
And then Mike has to get something checked apparently, and
Yeah.
can't play pickleball. And
Pickleball
I
envy.
feel like
is what
it's
you got.
interesting that the old guy
Good
is
brand.
like showing up
Totally.
and like
Yeah.
it's fine.
Totally.
You
I'm.
know?
I'm.
I don't know.
That's valid,
I
Kevin.
just
Yeah.
it just feels like there's just this like low hum of depression
But
in this
speaking
room
of,
right
can I
now.
say, speaking of showing up,
Oh, no.
Kevin Dixon showed up to our green room, which is our kitchen.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
On
yes.
it's the
Sunday.
best green
Yes.
room ever.
And so, yeah, let's be clear. When we use the
Yeah.
word
I didn't
green
stay
room-
long.
Yeah.
I didn't stay
No,
long.
so if you're
No.
on YouTube right now, you can look at Kevin's shirt, just the length of it, the sleeves of it.
Yeah.
There's the slap, a hand slap.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah,
on
see,
the
it
table.
wasn't me last week. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
I don't know. I thought maybe you had done.
How's
that
it
once.
look?
No, just
Is the light right?
Kevin, just use your hands for that. That's all that is. That's all. Yep,
Oh,
there
nice.
it is. That's
I
what it is.
like that.
So anyway, Kevin,
You could sit
is
on
buff, and
Very
one of the
strong.
ways he flexes that is he wears shirts that are really too small for him.
I disagree. I think he's. We've talked about this before. I
Yeah.
feel like he's flaunting what he's got, and he's got it.
And no, I'm not faulting.
Yeah.
I'm just declaring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Acknowledge.
Feedback.
They're tight shirts.
That we've got, yes,
Yeah.
from some of the older members of the
Yeah.
congregation who've just simply said it's distracting.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all that is.
stumbling.
Yeah.
Older than you.
So Kevin shows up in a brand new,
Yeah.
appropriately fitting.
Like you can see the crease in the sleeve.
Well, I didn't know that. If I had
Yeah,
known
yeah.
that, I'd
No,
have done
not
something
just on the
about
sleeves,
that.
on the back.
Was
I mean,
the
you
sticker?
literally
Was the sticker on still? Little
I think it was.
large.
But you try to take those stickers off anymore. They're
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
They're on there.
And so
Yeah.
you could have shaved with the like fold creases
Yeah,
that
you
were
bet.
still in that shirt.
You just make that up. Have you ever used that before? That
I don't.
bit?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before. I liked it.
All right, let me keep going. You could have opened letters with
I
the
use an
crease-
electric razor, by
with
the
the
way.
crease
Oh my
on that
gosh.
thing. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You could have sharpened knives
Yes.
with the creases on that thing.
Well, if I'd only known.
All that is Kevin walked in and his arms were covered.
Yep.
And sweet Suzie and I just acknowledged the glory
Yeah.
of Kevin
Of the shirt.
of the shirt.
Not Kevin, the shirt.
Yeah. Because lack
shirt.
thereof of
Yeah,
the
you
glory
didn't
of
see
Kevin's
me under
arms.
that blanket, man.
It was drippy.
It was drippy.
It was drippy.
Yep. It was
was drippy.
skibbity drip.
Whoa.
Let's not go there.
Would Tuyen have said anything?
Yeah, oh, okay. Would Tuyen have said it?
Would
Oh my
she have
gosh.
been like?
Oh,
Tuyen
yeah.
is now our standard bearer
Yeah, yeah,
of,
Of fashion?
of everything.
Fashion.
How old is she?
16.
Like, yeah.
She's getting married next
She's getting
week.
married on
On
Saturday.
Saturday. So,
Oh, yes.
and guess who's doing that
You're
wedding?
officiating.
I am.
What are you wearing?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, here
I
we
did
go.
come back to
Here
this.
we go.
Did
We're
the
back.
Great job.
We're back.
Did the kilt ever come back?
It's
Yes.
a blue kilt with a priest collar.
And that's it.
Yep.
No shirt.
So my upper half
No
says
shoes.
I'm here as
Yeah.
an officiant. My lower half says I'm ready to party. And
Any creases?
absolutely creases.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Pleats?
Yep.
Oh,
Is it a pleated kilt?
Totally.
Does it have a
Yes.
giant safety pin?
I don't know why giant needs to be applied to that question.
Sorry, Mike. That was hurtful.
Well, that's what the
No, it's
kilts
fine.
have,
That's
like
fine.
large
That's fine.
safety pins,
Yeah,
on
yeah.
them, don't they?
Mike, I think you look
You
great.
know what? I am not
Thank you.
at all aware of what is on a kilt and what's
Okay.
not on a kilt.
I
just know all I know is Braveheart.
I went to the
And-
big and tall section.
Yeah.
The husky section.
Of?
The what did your mom
Yeah,
call
husky.
it?
Husky jeans.
Did you ever get a response?
From Carol?
Yeah.
She did respond.
Yeah.
Did you
I'll-
really?
I'll look it up and see if it was worth it.
Oh, Tim, husky was a compliment. It was good. It meant you were growing up.
Big bone.
Continue. Okay,
Big
so
bone.
big bone. I was barrel chested. So you went to
That's
the
it.
you went to the barrel chested zone of what
Yes.
what store?
Of Kohl's.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh.
a great place to buy suits.
With a
Okay, I never knew.
Yeah.
I haven't
I
been
have-
in
I
a
bought-
Kohl's
I bought a
in
suit from Kohl's once.
30
Yeah.
years. I mean,
Okay.
I don't.
I went
Yeah.
there on prom day 2
Whoa.
years ago because Silas
Wow.
dropped his suit off at the dry cleaners, and the dry cleaners was
it.
closed the day of prom.
Oh.
So I had to go
no.
there like the day of and find a suit for him
Oh.
to wear. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
No, it was
Express has
it
nice
was
suits,
like
too.
it was like Granimals.
Granimals.
Because
They
remember
gotta like that.
Granimals, if you're of a certain age
Yeah.
where the clothes were picked out.
There's a
matching for
lion
you.
and a lion or a...
And so on
yeah.
just this one little section, it was tiny.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pair of black pants
Yeah.
Well, that's
and
important.
a black suit coat.
Yeah.
With a blue shirt hanging right there. And
Sold.
I just tried it all
So
on.
she wants you to wear a suit, huh?
She does.
Yeah.
And I'm going to.
Yeah.
So I have a
Hospitality.
suit.
Oh my gosh. There's got to be
this
pictures
thing
of this.
is so expensive.
Yeah.
It is made out.
The
it's-
wedding or
it
the
is
suit?
Not. No, the suit. The suit is the cheapest thing I could
Cotton?
find.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure it's like
Polyester.
it's like Kevlar, wool, and polyester. It'll be
Breathable.
90 degrees.
Breathable.
Yeah. It's like you would wear this in the Arctic Circle. You know, this is.
I don't want to bring it back around, but does it taste maybe like those chips that we've tried?
Yeah. It is the
those woolly chips.
the
It tastes like the seitan.
Are those the same chips?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that,
just-
that
yeah.
can't
But
be.
you know, here's
that
what's
can't
great.
be
They
be
never
made out
get
of this.
stale because they were never fresh.
That's right.
Well,
How would
There's
you know?
nothing.
Yeah,
There's
how would-
nothing to degrade.
How would you know?
there's probably
Exactly.
something growing on them though, because you know,
Okay.
like.
Well,
Do
Mike,
you have a
we need
Pocket
pictures.
square?
Yeah.
No, it was
pocket-
extra. Yep, that did not include the Granimals.
Are you wearing
How about a tie?
I am wearing a tie from Amazon.
Color?
It is blue and black because I have a light blue shirt and I have a black matching Granimal suit. Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna need a photo.
Oh,
I need to know what
Show
shoes
notes.
are being worn
Show
with that
notes.
said outfit.
I have.
Do you have socks first? Did you have to
No,
buy?
I don't have dress socks. But I have like ankle high black socks that I'll wear.
perfect.
Because here's what's going to happen. I'm going to wear that suit and
Yeah.
I'm going to take the suit off,
Yeah.
throw on some shorts for the reception.
Perfect.
I've already cleared that.
Well,
Little bit
it'll be
jacket.
cold. It'll be cold.
With the
so it'll be
jacket.
I know with the coat and tie though.
Oh, okay.
I mean with the shirt and tie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shorts with the shirt. and
Like
tie.
these
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of shorts, or are you gonna wear like?
No, I'm
your-
going to go
your-
khakis.
Your
I
dress
still have my
shorts?
khaki. Yeah,
Okay.
my dress cargo shorts. So all that is to say, thank you so much for being interested.
Yeah.
I didn't have nearly the dilemma that Suzie had, but it did require some effort
Yeah.
on my part.
Yeah.
As my son would say, I acquired the bag.
Yes.
Bag acquired.
Wow.
So thank you, Kohl's.
Important.
And we got Kohl's cash, which is
Yeah,
what is
that's
that?
awesome. It's
not
like
cash, it's
coupons
cash.
for next
Cash.
time.
Yeah.
It's coupons for next time.
Yeah.
Coupons.
Okay.
It's like Old Navy cash.
So the next time you do a wedding in 10 years from now,
Yeah.
bring that Kohl's cash back with you.
Yeah. So anyway, it's
But-
happening. It's happening. Black suit,
I would like to.
polyester.
I would like to give Carol's response.
Okay.
So if you guys didn't know, I wore husky jeans as a large child, and Carol would say,
Big
"Oh,
bone.
honey, you're not." I was a big bone. I was barrel chested. She would tell me, "Oh, honey, you're just barrel chested."
Yeah.
And so I wore husky pants. I was
Try
like, I
saying that
love
to her.
huskies, you know.
Yeah.
And
Cool dogs, though.
anyways, I found out it was just for larger humans, if
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah. I thought husky was like, like the canine. It was like
Yeah.
fierce. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
predatorial.
Come
It
on.
was like, yeah.
That's why I was so excited. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, huskies. And then I found out and it hurt.
Yeah.
So anyways, we sent a video at one of the podcasts to my mom saying, Mom, can we just like get a little clarification on what barrel chested means? Because I
Yeah.
felt like
Yeah.
that's hurtful.
Yeah. Unless you're going over the Niagara.
So this is Carol's response.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Hi, Carol.
Honey, I just got your message. So sorry you're troubled about this! Exclamation point. I think of barrel-chested as a real compliment, smiley face. It means that a man is strong in the upper body, but it is just a way of describing the bone structure of a rounded chest. Marty, her new husband, who they make out, has a barrel chest, but he is not heavy as such, just a rounding lung cage, has a rounded lung cage. I think it is handsome. Heart. Barrel-chested or not, I think, oh, this is sweet. I think you're a handsome heart. I think Mike is handsome, heart. I think Kevin is handsome,
No
heart. Remember, handsome
I got
is as
nothing.
handsome.
Wait,
but this is she's not going to talk about your chest.
Yeah.
Remember,
Susie's never been
I
called.
feel so overlooked right now.
You don't want to be handsome.
You don't want to
not
ever be
in this
called
way.
barrel
I
chested.
mean, at least like something.
Okay.
Golly, Carol.
Nice hair.
so this is her end. Remember, ... Handsome is as handsome does, heart.
Oh.
So you just have to figure out what handsome does. Exclamation, red, smiley face, and heart emoji.
Oh.
Nice.
Susie, she didn't want to talk about you in this. Because
Yeah.
you're beautiful and you're you.
Yeah.
We are the barrel-chested ones.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anyways, I felt like
not
that was a big
barrel-chested.
thing for us to talk about.
Let me just say, of all the responses, a rounded lung cage is the greatest. And I can hear her voice.
Yeah.
A rounded
I love that
cage.
she's talking to you like I would talk to Nathan right now in
Yeah,
7th grade
Hey,
about this.
Honey, honey, it's a
Handsome
compliment.
is
Yeah,
as
it's-
handsome does.
That's right.
So
That's
remember
right.
what handsome does.
Yeah. Women are not visual, is what
so
she's saying.
funny.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing I would like to bring up, speaking of all this, because we just talked about barrel-chested. And
Speaking of barrel
Where we
chested,
going?
Kevin is not barrel-chested.
no, what is the opposite of barrel
Well,
chested?
it's his butt and his chest are about the same thing, right? And so
Yes.
Mike on Sunday,
Oh, so let me just set this
Yeah,
up.
set
Let me
that
just
up.
set this up.
because only the people who listen, all the four of us that listen on this thing,
This is what's great.
would
No
have
one
gotten
is
that
going to hear
bit.
this.
Yeah.
So Kevin has no butt. I mean, literally
Zero.
no butt. It is
Negabutt.
His back just continues down.
Yeah.
It's negative.
And yeah, it really is. It's and I think that's part of his superpower. You know, he can sit for long stretches on a mower.
Strong arms.
Yep, he has
but
strong
no
arms.
butt. Yeah,
no butt.
all maybe it all went to his arms.
and tiny feet.
Yeah.
So ballet
Anything else?
was an option.
Anything else?
Was an
you
option
wanna
for him. So
Because he can push
yeah.
people up.
Yep. Cheerleading.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. All that is to say, though, Kevin's lack of trunk is well known.
Strong.
Well known. So,
Thanks to you.
yeah.
Thanks to you.
Well,
It's hard to not see
it's
it.
weird when his back pockets touch.
Yeah.
On his jeans, he just walks around and his back pockets fold together.
Just clack.
They just, and when he wears corduroy, it sounds like a cricket.
Oh my gosh.
So it's the opposite of the
That
crease.
is so stupid.
Well, that explains that.
Yeah.
I always looking for that cricket.
You could sharpen a knife.
So there
Okay.
may have been. You could, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh gosh. I feel really
There
uncomfortable.
may have been. So there may have been multiple references over the course of our friendships to the lack of junk. And so setting with that context in view, Timothy.
Yes. No, I mean, so you just started talking about
Turning.
turning the other cheek and brought up Kevin, basically saying that Kevin has. What did you?
I said Kevin has great cheeks.
Yeah.
Because I needed a stand-in.
To turn the other cheek. But
Yeah, to
I
turn
just
the other cheeks.
the fact that it just. I thought you were going to go there in the message, but you just left it.
I left it hanging.
Yes.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. And there were
Like my
four of us
pockets.
in there.
Yeah,
just like there are
We were all
listening,
there. Yeah.
who understand the context of, hey, Kevin has great cheeks. Let's come up and do the slapping metaphor.
Yeah.
And Kevin also has a cheeks reference on this podcast
Oh, yeah.
that Rob Gonzalez particularly enjoys. So there's a whole backstory to this. So
Feels
yes.
so right.
Yeah. But I wasn't going to get into it there because I'm looking at his wife.
Right.
You know, who I mean, let's be honest. Great judge of character.
Yep.
Kevin is as handsome does.
Yes.
And I'm not going to mess with that.
Here we go.
I'm not going to mess with that.
I agree.
So yes, we were talking about turning the other cheek.
Yeah, so
And
yeah,
we
let's
were
talk about-
specifying
Perfect segue.
the cheeks that were being slapped.
Right.
because when we play pickleball sometimes there's the pat.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So if I want to pat, like you'll do a great play.
Yeah.
And you'll walk by me
Yep.
because we got to switch sides because we're dominating.
always
So I'll
about-
just pat. I'll just pat the booty.
Cheeks. Yep.
Yeah. With Kevin, you hit his spine.
Yeah.
So it's
Spinal tap?
You hit it. Yeah. It's kind of like you hit a flat surface.
Yeah. Sounds like the ball.
Yeah. And it's not good for the paddle.
Yeah.
So I rarely tap.
Yeah.
Oh, we're a strong 15 minutes in. I'm
It's
so happy
interesting,
about
though,
that.
'cause
Timestamp
he's
this,
the only
Grant.
one that can play right now.
Timestamp this.
Oh Lord.
Agent Grant.
Okay, so perfect segue.
Yes.
Perfect
So we've been
segue.
talking about the kingdom of God
Yes.
and how it's distinguished from the kingdoms of the world.
And
Right.
cheeks.
And well, Jesus brought it up. That
Yeah.
was not.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just reading the Bible.
Reading the text.
Suzie.
Yeah.
I know.
Just reading the Bible.
That's what it says.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin.
That makes me laugh, and then I yawn. I don't know why that is, but
Wow, this feels right.
yep.
Okay.
So all that is to say, Jesus introduces the idea of not resisting an evil person, which
Grant,
obviously,
that's at 15 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yeah, Grant.
We can start this.
Grant.
Okay.
Jump roping might help.
We have had some people that have bought jump ropes because of that
Yeah.
episode. And Hillary the other day is like, I think we should buy a jump rope, a nice jump rope.
I would.
So it might happen. So
Well,
thank you, Grant.
You know who's great
We
for
should
jump
get
roping?
sponsored by a jump rope company. That would be
Totally.
really cool.
You know
Or
who's
Kohl's.
great? You know
We
who's
could
great
get 6 sales
for
out
either
of that,
pole
I think.
vaulting
Yeah.
or jump roping?
Yeah.
Somebody with small feet and no behind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
Actually, I'm
Large,
not bad
large
at jump
biceps.
roping.
You're not. I'm
not
not
bad at it.
surprised. How are you at hula hooping?
Awesome.
All right,
No.
great.
Actually,
Timestamp this.
Great.
Actually, I
16,
suck.
16.
I suck
All
at
right.
hula hoop.
16, 20.
So
Doesn't
the kingdom
work.
of God.
Right.
Oh,
And one of
okay.
the defining characteristics that Jesus identifies before Pilate is the use of power over the kingdoms of the world. If my kingdom were a kingdom of this world, my disciples would fight, my followers would fight. But as it is, my kingdom is from another place. And it's not, it's of is the better translation there.
Yeah.
It's not, it's for the world, it's in the world, but it doesn't play by the same rules of the world. So we talked about, and Kevin's, we've all talked about power over, power under. And so Jesus doesn't leave abstractly what power under looks like. Because for us, the big power under sounds great in theory, but some of the questions we were getting is, okay, what's that mean? And how do I not get abused? And it sounds like I'm being a doormat. And
Yeah.
so in the Sermon on
Somebody
the Mount-
shows up with a gun at my house.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we go straight at the extremes of, and Jesus helpfully in the Sermon on the Mount talks about do not resist an evil person. And it sounds like it just feeds that same theory of we're just doormats. And yet, but it's interesting how important it is for Americans to know they're not doormats. Like in other cultures, like when
Yeah.
you're being martyred, they knew
Yeah.
do not resist an evil person meant allow myself to die for the sake of the beauty and fame of Jesus.
Yeah.
For us, it's so important that we know that we're not doormats, that we have something.
We're fighters.
Yes, we're fighters.
Yep.
And to those of us who are like that, Jesus gives 3 very tangible examples: turning the other cheek, walking the extra mile, and giving the cloak, your cloak, if someone asks for your shirt or your inner tunic. And we were just exploring through
Yeah.
creative,
Yeah.
visual representations about the cultural.
I have a story from my childhood about that.
Let's do it.
You sure?
Are you kidding me?
I am the youngest of 4 children.
Yes.
3 of us are boys, and we all sat in the back seat of the car.
What kind of car was it?
Thank you.
A
It was
station wagon
how'd you know?
with a wood paneling on
Yep.
the side.
Ford Country Squire.
The country squad.
I mean, because that was
73.
like the standard
Was a-
family vehicle
yeah,
at the time.
Yeah.
351.
1856. Yeah.
Had a green on the bottom, paneling on the side.
oh.
Roof
Was that the
rack.
Chevy Chase?
Yeah, similar.
that-
Very
okay.
similar
Yeah.
to that.
Vacation,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so we were in church, heard a sermon about turning the other cheek. And I could notice my dad was just getting irritated beyond belief.
Yeah.
And so we all pile in the car. I listened to about like 2 minutes of this sermon. Didn't really,
Yeah.
sorry, Dick Hunter. That's the name of
my
our
Lord.
pastor.
Okay.
That was his literal name.
Yeah.
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 Because I just want to clarify that. I knew
Pastor-
that, but I just
Yeah.
want to clarify that.
Pastor Dick.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's
up? Anyway,
Yeah. Well, Susie, we're
So
all
we
fine
lived-
here. We're all doing great.
we lived about 3 blocks from church.
Yeah.
We're in the car.
Yeah.
And we're
Let's
on
call
our
him
way.
Pastor Hunter. from
Yes.
now on.
Oh,
I've heard the story before, and I'm so sorry. It just
Pastor Hunter, that's so good. That's great.
time.
That is the cleanest way to do it.
Yeah. Or Richard Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah.
anyway, as a child, you don't know these things. You just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Way to witness.
So my dad stops the car, and my mom goes, "What are you doing, Jerry?" And he turns around and he looks at the 3 of us.
Oh, I know. Oh,
He
I know.
goes, "All right, you 3. What he said today is a bunch of crap."
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, "Okay, you do not turn the other cheek. You do not. If someone comes up to you and slaps you, you hit them back." I mean, we got this long lecture in the car on the way home from church after hearing a sermon about turning the other cheek. It was
Wow.
fantastic. We all went, "Okay."
I actually appreciate his integrity, because the far worse thing is to sit there and go, yeah,
Oh no,
and then never take it seriously.
he was mad. He was like angry, not at us, but
Right.
at, he goes,
Right.
"I want you to forget everything you heard today." And we're like,
That's
the
amazing.
3 of us, we got out of the car like,
Yeah.
"Were you listening? What did he
Yeah,
say?"
yeah.
so funny.
Yeah,
What
that's
did
the
your
only
mom
sermon
say?
I
Did
went
your
back
mom
and
say
listened
anything?
to.
No, she just stared out the front of the. And my sister was sitting in the middle next to my dad, but he was just talking to the 3 of us.
It's a perfect illustration of
Right.
so much of the Bible. I mean, so much of the things that are said that we kind of just go, yeah, that makes sense. But as you're saying, like, this doesn't really, you can't really take
No,
this.
he ranted about the fact that his boys are not going to be
Yeah.
beat up, or you're.
Yeah.
My pride says that you're going to have pride in who you are, and you do not let people do that to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And then, that
So
was.
when I got suspended for fighting at school, my dad said, "Well, what happened?" I explained to him what happened. He said, "Well, yeah, okay." I didn't get in trouble at all.
Yeah.
Because that's the way we worked. That's the way we were.
But in context, of course,
Yeah.
the teachings are
Yeah.
not.
Right. It's just so interesting because,
But that's
like,
yeah.
in
That says so much about your
in
family.
context of the of the series, like when we're talking about politics and kind of trying to rise above the current discourse, like it's hard. I think it's hard for anybody who, whatever, side of the spectrum you're on politically or partisanshiply, to really embody that. Like that's
Yeah.
just what it seems, like the noise is so,
Yeah.
it's so loud that, like, both sides, so to speak, are having difficulty with turning the other cheek and resisting the enemy. I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Yeah.
every time you hear somebody talk, they're talking badly about the other side.
Yeah.
Personally, like personal attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's we're
It used-
tired of that.
Yeah. It used to not be that way.
Yeah, it used to be very
Much more civil.
Very respectful.
It's ratcheted up over the last 8 years or so.
Yeah.
8 to 12 years.
So what would you say to his dad? If you were in
If
a
you were in the
conversation-
back seat, you would have said, "Okay."
No, but
Understood.
if you're having a sober conversation with his dad and anybody else, that all of us have a piece of that in us that are like, that's awesome. That's a great, gosh, Jesus, that's so great. But when it comes down to it,
Yeah.
when we're looking at the context of the
I mean,
scripture,
so I would say, first of all, Jesus, that's not what Jesus means. But even if he did, that's better than your way.
Right.
Because violence only begets more violence.
Yes, it does.
Always.
Yep.
Live by the sword, die by the sword. You go for it. If that's your way of life, we know where that way goes. I would rather join the side of the long history of people who've been martyred or who've suffered for the name of Christ, right? So even if Jesus was saying that, it's still the better way to go. But that's not exactly what he's saying, right? He's countering the common righteousness of the day, which is, well, of course vengeance is okay. Just limit it to the offense, which in the ancient world was a big step, of course. And so in
Just
Torah,
limit it to an equal offense.
yeah. So eye for eye, tooth for tooth. That's the shorthand of saying, listen, someone does something to some of your livestock, there's a monetary value, and all you can get is what that was worth. You can't, to de-escalate the situation, you just do like for like. You match. And Jesus in Do Not Resist says, don't match. Don't match the evil done to you.
Right.
But there's still room to respond. And he gives 3 examples of what creative sort of goodness looks like that turn out to not be either fighting in kind or running away, but actually require the most courage out of all the options, right? Which is the courage to stand in front of the oppressor and or the insulter and to force them to redefine the relationship because of your courage and your generosity. So I would have said those sorts of things, but I would have also, if I were talking to Kevin and his brothers, I'd just say, look at the outcome of your dad's life, and say, this is what this breeds. If this is what a good human life looks like to you, then great. Yeah. I don't think that's what a good human life looks like. So I don't know. I mean, who am I? And whatever. But I think we all are in that situation where it's tempting to, and Suzie, you had said, to mention this, and I didn't even mention it at the 11, but I think we are allowed to have opponents. Jesus and Paul had opponents, right? They were people who held conflicting ways and means and goals to what Jesus was doing.
That's a part of life.
That's a part of life, exactly. But enemy making is a step up from opponents. Enemy making is now you're condemning the character, you're attacking the person, you are rendering judgments about motives.
Which is the difference between, the 90s, to now, and all
in
those
our
years up
political
into
arena.
I mean, like you have to see these clips of debates where the candidates are actually complimenting each other and like being so graceful and kind to
civil.
Now people being made fun of for their laugh or being called all kinds of names for different
all kinds of things.
Kevin, you started to say something though.
I don't remember what it was.
Okay, perfect. How would your and I've even heard in the political realm, right? You remember a very famous national prayer breakfast, right, where somebody talked about turning the other cheek, and the response at the prayer breakfast was, "We've tried that, and it doesn't work."
Yeah,
right.
And so that's the absolutely, and we think the stakes are so high in the American political process that justifies us no longer acting Jesus-like.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is that we've given up on actually what Jesus called us to do.
Right.
And thinking that power over actually is the better way to go.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's been very convicting for me. I mean, I even just in this cycle, there's a political opponent there's a political figure that I just disdain.
Yeah.
And I find myself wanting to talk bad about this person, her or him.
Yeah. Nice.
Thank you. They. And wanting to talk bad about them just because it's so like obvious to me.
Right.
But that's just it. It's just the same thing.
Yeah.
It's still
attacking returning in kind.
A character, an identity, versus just the things that happened. And it's hard sometimes to find that line. Hillary and I will be talking about something or talking about with the kids, or then it's like, oh gosh, that I'm just really in a roundabout kind of like nice way attacking a character.
Sure.
And we've really been like working on that in the house of trying to figure out how do we
do
not
it better.
How do we not attack the character? And this has been even helpful this series on that.
Well, it's we dehumanize people. We take away their humanity by Yeah.
What is it that you said that you should do no harm when you can? And what is that line that you say?
Defining love.
Every once in a
She
while.
wants you.
Loving your enemy.
When you have the chance.
Yeah, when you have the chance to harm them, don't. When you have the chance to do something good, do. So Tim's given an example of what harm looks like. I mean, when you pay attention to Scripture's repeated emphasis on speech, malicious speech, my Lord, it's like such a big deal.
Yeah.
So the difference between discernment, which we are to operate in and with, and are freely to express and wrestle with each other, versus condemning judgment. And that was what was so powerful for me about praying for the person I see as my opponent that I want to turn into an enemy.
Yeah.
And praying without strings for their flourishing, their blessing, their enjoyment of God's creation, that they would feel God's presence and love. I mean, that's so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I choked on that one a little bit.
You'd
Right.
said years ago we were talking about blessing, and you just kept talking about wholeness. You know that there's like you're praying shalom into their existence, their family.
Totally.
That's been a great word for me to pray for my enemies is wholeness. That it feels like it's not just like all financial great things, because that's not even what the word means, but it's just this whole.
Yeah.
It
That you would find peace, that they would find rest,
Yeah.
that they would find wholeness. Those are beautiful things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like why I liked wholeness is there's a part that I really actually want to pray for them, just like I would hope somebody would pray for me, that I would see the errors in some of my ways.
Yeah.
If I'm somebody's enemy, that they would be praying for my wholeness, which is well-being, which is all the things, but it's also wisdom and clarity on things, or
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's okay to pray against people.
Like there's imprecatory prayers and psalms and
Well, yeah, I don't go those.
Carol calls them prayer wedges.
Oh, of course,
Let's
not
go.
prayer tots, but prayer wedges,
like
not prayer
the
fries.
put a wedge between them.
We're gonna,
Yeah.
She used to,
Oh, that's so amazing. But I mean, I think you can
does
pray
Brad call
against
them?
somebody to pray for them.
What's Brad call him?
What does Brad call them?
Yeah.
Oh man, Brad, my brother Brad.
Isn't he like Bible Kid of the Year or something at camp?
Oh,
What
at
was that
camp,
award?
most
Christ-like.
Christ-like.
Christ-like. Yeah. So he would know.
He would totally know. Brad, call in just in the next 5 minutes.
yeah. Is he barrel-chested?
No.
Noah.
He's been here before, weren't you? Did you?
I'm just
sitting right there.
just
No.
Yeah, just checking.
Skinny and hair and beautiful.
Oh, wow.
The Lord gives, the Lord takes away. Blessed be
okay.
the
So
name
you
of the
can
Lord.
pray against.
Somebody in order to pray for them. Now, when I'm praying for enemies, I don't include that other part. But there have been opponents where I've prayed for people who've tried to hurt me or us or whatever.
Sure.
And I've prayed against their activities in the world.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that God might redeem, restore, provide shalom, whatever.
But that's not an identity.
Yeah.
Is
prayer?
it wrong to pray imprecatory prayers?
Well, I don't.
Sounds.
I think some.
Sounds like a
I think.
disease.
I think possibly. And here's the reason. I don't think psalms are the words of God.
Right.
I think psalms are the prayers of humans.
Right. They're the hearts of men.
Yes.
Yeah.
So psalms gives us. I think it gives us loads of permission and language to use when we're angry. But if I'm literally going to pray that my military enemies,
Smote.
kids, are dashed against the rocks.
That's a rough one.
I'm not praying God's words there. That's not God's desire.
Right.
I love that that's included in the scripture so that when
Right.
we feel that passionately antagonistic,
We have words
there's even
for it.
language. Yeah, and God is big enough to even handle that in covenant context. But I don't pray them unless they are I don't pray imprecatory prayers in general as if those were God's will for people. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, totally.
praying
Right.
Against. Exactly.
the violence
Yeah.
of the enemy.
Yeah, or the intentions, or the agenda, or the whatever. Absolutely, there's total
Yeah.
room for that. But I'm doing that where it's separated is what you said, Kevin. If I'm doing that, recognizing them as an image bearer, and humanizing, then I feel comfortable praying against somebody. If I'm praying against somebody as a nameless, faceless,
Right.
and I wish them harm. Because there are times, for sure, I would love to see people who've hurt me be harmed. Then I think I've crossed the line into I'm not blessing those who persecute me. This is just another way of me trying to exercise power over.
Right.
So prayer itself can be an exercise in power over or power under, depending on how we. And that's why prayer is so important in the kingdom. Is it is the perfect expression of power under. We're asking. All we can do is ask. There's no manipulation. There's no formula.
Right.
It's literally the acknowledgement that I have no control over this. So that's why, like, I think why prayer is such a big deal is it
Right.
teaches us power under.
Right. And what's most revealing for me, anyway, in understanding this is when I delight in somebody else's demise. When somebody else
Kev.
somehow, some way gets their just desserts.
Yes.
And I feel no empathy. I feel delight.
Yeah.
I'm like, see,
Well, and I
that's
think
revealing.
I think in like that as an example, like we all have a bit of responsibility to, guard our hearts, right? And so like I think about like how the news, the way I consume news, what I allow myself to listen to and see and get caught up in, like how that makes me more angry and vengeful and that sort of thing. And so like you can change your habits in that sense, but going to what you said about what the power of like what prayer is, why it's so important is like you can actually pray that God would turn your heart towards the flourishing of others. Like even if you don't have it in you, which is totally fair, but to say, just to ask God to give you a heart that's tuned towards the flourishing of others so that then you can ask for it or you can show it in practical ways. Because I don't think that comes naturally to any of us in specifics. In certain circumstances, especially, and the way that our anger and our fear and our hatred is currently being stoked, not just by social media or mainstream media or whatever, but like by, the crowds of people and the people in our lives and their anger and fear that, they can't contain. Like it affects us because we see it affecting them. And then is it going to affect our relationship? And how can we share a meal together if this is what it's like? But like to be constantly mindful of the Holy Spirit's presence with all of us and asking for that attunement, I think is a really great place to start.
I had a therapist friend who just said, when I look at American culture, all I see are a bunch of scared kids who are all acting out of that primal limbic system, fight or flight place. No one's parenting our culture. All the traditional authorities that would provide that sort of parental voice.
Right. Interesting.
Literally parents or the church or
presidents,
government presidents, education. I mean, they've all been shown to be corrupt to some degree or another. So we've lost, the institutional trust in all these is obviously bottomed out, which means we're parentless, literally and figuratively. And so we're all just acting out of our limbic systems, which means I'm under threat. They're coming to get me. And so we get Christianized versions of that. We get secular versions of that, but that's what it all is. And that was so profoundly challenging to me as a Jesus follower who not only follows a guy who conquered death, supposedly, but casts out fear. What is that? So anyway, it was just an interesting take.
But it is a culture that is ripe for conspiracy then.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Because who there is no authority that is good. There is no authority that is
everything's a conspiracy.
But that's where I think the healthiest congregations step in and spiritually parent each other and the community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just think there's a massive role for that spiritual fathering and mothering in our world.
Just a last thought. When
you always
our
want the
power,
last
our battles are not with flesh and blood. So is an enemy okay? Is the evil an enemy?
Well, Jesus,
we're told that. Yeah,
it's interesting. Jesus only used power over against the powers and principalities. Like there's violent language used. The only time is against the powers. So yes, that is. But again, we over personalize them, I think, and maybe over individualize them. I don't know that there's a demon and an angel on my shoulder whispering all day or whatever, but
it could be
when okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not, but because we individualize everything.
Yeah, depends upon what kind of shirt you're wearing, but that's a different story.
Kevin's got a red shirt today, guys. Read into it what you will.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. On that note.
Well, yeah, that's fine. I got other really cool thoughts.
All right, go for it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Journey Now. If for some bizarre reason you liked it, help us spread the word by leaving a review and sharing it on your socials. Journey Now is a production of Journey Church in Brentwood, Tennessee. Edwin Rivera III produces the show and fixes all the guests' slurping, gum chewing, coughing, and other annoying sounds. Randy Hansen provides technical assistance, even though he denies it. Grant Opperman edits Journey Now and intervenes whenever necessary to tell the crew that you can't say that. Special shout out to dear listener Brad Erre and dear YouTube watcher Seth Erre. If there's anyone else who makes it through each week, we're so sorry, and thank you too.
No, I'm kidding.
Pastor Hunter,
Pastor
may
Hunter.
you rest in peace.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
resting in peace.
I've been
Amen.
thinking about how you actually would. I think you could blip out his first name, and it'd be really funny. So
No,
hopefully Grant.
the fact that you transitioned and just threw his name out
It was
without
so
context.
quick. It was so quick.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I lost it.
Oh
No, you
my
guys.
Lord.
I was like,
By the way,
come
this
on.
should still be going.
That was his name.
Guys, thanks for listening to this
And,
podcast.
and he had a son,
What was his son's name?
Little Dickie Hunter.
That's not true.
Please end
There
it.
was a pastor
end
in
it
the
right
South
there.
Bay named Wilbur Wacker.
what we call
Wilbur Wacker?
Yeah, this is perfect. This is my favorite part of the podcast right here. And scene.